So on the show now, from the Two-Man Power Trip and his many, many podcasts, John Paz wanted to come on and have a conversation with the guys about the differences in the ratings in the 90s to today when it comes to WCW and AEW and some things that they might not know.
All right, let's hear it. What's your first of all, you have a contention with something that I pointed out?
Well, it's just, I don't know, you're like missing the obvious, though, I think, for like the ratings. Obviously, they're not going to be as high as then. So now, if you really look at it, you can go to Variety. I mean, there's a million different websites that cover it. Only 65% of people have cable TV now that used to have cable TV.
Okay, used to during what? Give me time for used to compared to when? During like the 90s or
yeah. I'm saying during the Monday Night Wars era. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
So only 65% of people actually have cable.
But that's not the point of what I'm trying to make. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The point I'm trying to make about the ratings is that AEW's ratings, okay, their highest rated show was their first show.
Right.
Okay. They're drawing about 35% less than their initial audience. So we're 2 years and 9 months into AEW, and they're drawing 35% less fans than their original show. Okay, look at 2 years, 9 months from the inception of the Monday Night Wars. The audience in professional wrestling had grown by like 40%. Okay, and they were going head to head. My point is that every single time that they're not increasing their numbers, people like you are making excuses of why viewership is down across the board. But we have a baseline starting point here. Okay, the baseline starting point was 1.4 million fans. And on that same night, you had 900,000 fans that watched NXT. 2.3 million people watching for that initial audience on Wednesday night that started the quote-unquote Wednesday Night Wars. Okay? Well, the difference between the Wednesday Night Wars and the Monday Night Wars is that Monday Night Wars created a growth of professional wrestling fans. Okay? Bro, wrestling is not growing its audience. You can sit there and make these cases like, well, they're watching different. Well, we have the baseline numbers from the TV, okay, and they're down. And I keep, we keep saying, people keep making excuses. All right, they're talking about like I see Brandon Thurston talk about, well, their next TV deal because the demo rating they should be 4 times what they get now. And it's like, I'm like, dude, like I tell you, I just tweeted just today. I go, the network's going to look and say, bro, you had 1.4 million fans your first show. Why do you only have 1 million fans now? Like, why do people think that they're going to get like a 4 times increase in their rights deal when they haven't shown the ability to increase their numbers?
But it's not. But it's across the board, though. It's like every TV show. So you're saying they're down AEW, and that may be true, but they're still number one. So that means everything across the board is down, not just AEW.
What about sports? What about live sports?
Depends on the sport. They kill hockey. Okay. They beat up hockey.
I mean, but has the NFL's ratings gone down from 1998?
No. NFL is different. Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, so here's what you're doing. Okay, you're discounting the fact that other genres are performing well and better during a period of time when AEW and WWE is kind of like stagnated. They have their core audience basically 1.8 million on Raw, 2.1 to 2.2 on SmackDown. It's been like that for a few years. Okay. Yep. But that's what they kind of started at when this whole thing started. When AEW came on, we were supposed to see the revolution and everything. My take is that the people just AEW continues to do the exact same things. There's like a failure of people to say like, oh, hey, maybe we're doing something wrong. Why can't we grow our audience? Because people like you are constantly saying, well, this is just the way TV is these days. Everything's down. The people watching on different platforms. It's like, yeah, but your numbers aren't going up. We have a starting point baseline numbers. Bro, if this was a stock, very, very simplistic to do. If you look at a stock and it has a starting point, and if all the graph is below the starting point, I'm sorry, I don't know how people can spin that as like they're doing fine. You bought a stock. You bought a stock the first day it came out. You've lost money. You haven't gotten your money back yet. So explain to me where I'm missing the point here.
But if you're in sales, right? and everything is down, you're going to say, oh, no, we're down. You're never going to say you're down. Like looking at the chart, you're going to say, we're number one. We're number one in this demo. We're number one on Wednesday night. They're never going to say like, okay, we lost, 1.4 to 1.0 or whatever. They're still number one. That means that everything has shifted down. Yes, they're niche.
Then you're just delivering a narrative. You're ignoring the fact that you've lost a significant amount of your fans. How do you get them back? They're completely not doing anything to try to get them back. They've done the exact same type of show for two years and 9 months. They consistently bring in wrestlers that we don't know who they are. They throw these people in matches, and their fan base says, "Oh, what a great match this is going to be!" And I go, "I don't even know who this guy is, Takashita." Yeah, who is Takashita? Oh, Takashita's doing great. Okay, well, Takashita was on this week, and they drew 37,000 fans less than they did last week because maybe these people turn the channel because they don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, but you could argue.
Go ahead.
You could argue that bringing in Punk and Bryan and Adam Cole in a 2-month period was an attempt to raise the ratings. It just didn't happen.
Exactly. And what's the thing that they have not changed? The fact that they do not recap their storylines, and the matches are too long, and there's not a lot of buildup. And I keep pointing out, and I think a lot of the work has a lot to do with it. Everybody's slapping their thigh these days. They're still standing there watching guys dive on them and stuff. But a lot of their work is very phony during a period of time when the Dirt Sheet guys are promoting that these are some of the best matches of all time. Every week it's 4 stars, 4.5. For this pay-per-view is 4.5, 5 stars, 3. Like every single match is like through the charts are through the roof. So my question is, if they have the Booker of the Year and some of the best work of all time and the most talented roster of all time, where are the fans? And the excuse of like, well, they're different platforms saying that does not work. You had 1.4 million fans your first show. Where did they go? There's a good chunk of fans that you can get back. What are they doing to get them back? And I keep saying they're doing nothing. When we keep getting a lot of criticism on this show for pointing that out because we're hating, we're stuff. It's like, no, you guys, they're barely drawing 1 million fans. I'm not going to sit there pretending, yeah, they're doing great when you had 1.4 million to start. And I think the rest of the industry, maybe because we're in a period of time and like, people don't want to offend people. We're all in this together and it's a big happy family. We're a big community and stuff. And like, that they ignore the errors. And I don't think the things of trying to make excuses of there's different ways to watch and all this that doesn't make any sense to me when we have a baseline number to start with.
I think that was just a large group of lapsed fans just checking it out. I don't think they were ever intending to stay. Not to make that excuse, but I don't think they were ever going to stay no matter what. I think they were just checking it out.
Here's a point. Whenever they trend up for a few weeks, okay, they toot their
War
horn,
games.
They celebrate whenever there's blood, whenever they bleed.
War games a few weeks ago. Yeah, blood and guts. Yeah.
Whenever they trend up, everybody's like, to the point that Jericho's a great company guy, right? Yeah. Well, remember Jericho about 5 months ago made the statement, we're going to pass Raw in the ratings in 3 months or whatever it was. Bro, they're still drawing twice as many fans as AEW. And what are they doing differently than AEW? And it's like the things that they do differently are like kind of very obvious. They tell stories better. They recap stories better. If you turn in, you missed a week, they have good video packages, explain what's going on to catch you up so you know what's going on. And it's like they make some basic errors, I think, that is costing them fans. Lapsed fans are not going to come and watch a product if you have a bunch of Japanese girls who don't know who they are, they're not telling us who they are, you're saying, go ahead and Google and find out who they are.
But are you saying TV ratings are just the end-all, be-all for you? Because if you look at their live attendance, their live shows, even when they run the same town as WWE, they'll outdraw WWE sometimes in live shows. So maybe TV ratings isn't the end-all, be-all.
They're not running house shows. Okay,
right.
This is the whole principle. Back when Conan attests to this. Back when wrestling, when thrived, okay, yep. We were competing for fans on television with the other product, right? Because more fans you had watching your show would drive people to go watch the weekly house show business that was prevalent in our business, running 4 or 5 nights a week. Okay, AEW does not run 4 or 5 nights a week. They do TVs, they do pay-per-views, maybe a house show here and there and everything. So your whole show is geared towards television ratings. So sit there trying to make excuses for why your ratings aren't good doesn't make any sense to me. Because if your whole show is geared towards the ratings and you're doing things that are costing you getting new fans, I don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like the business model to me doesn't make a lot of sense.
But if they're number one in the ratings, where do you want them to go over number one?
They're number one against who?
On Wednesday nights.
On Wednesday night, Wednesday night TV.
I'm aware of that. What's Wednesday night TV? But when was the last time you watched cable television on Wednesday night and it wasn't professional? When's the last time you watched cable television on any night that wasn't professional wrestling?
Thursday night, the Old Man, FX.
Old Man FX is one show, okay? But where do most of other people watch shows? Streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming services, right? Okay, so it's a computer with streaming service. Bro, the thing about cable television being number one in cable, that's not that big of a deal. You're not competing against anything. And every time there is competition, like a regular season basketball game, they go, well, the Bulls played the Sixers today. It's like, no, playoffs.
Yeah, but that's why Brandon Thurston will say they're going to get better rights fees because they could just say they're number one and they could sell that to the to the networks. Hey, we're number one. So I think they will get more rights fees for that.
They'll get more, but do you think they're going to get 4x, like 4 times what they got?
I know Brandon's usually pretty right on the money with that stuff. I mean, he's great with his numbers, so maybe he's right, but I don't think 4 times. I think it's a little high. I think they'll get more, but not 4 times. I don't think.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how the networks are going to look at the blood and stuff and everything. What they're doing. I don't know. I'm just saying, bro. People give these guys a pass every week, every single time. Like I give constructive criticism of things they do wrong, right? And I get hate. I don't know what I'm talking about, and there's just constant excuses. I want to hear somebody with give me a logical reason. If I'm wrong, why are they not drawing? Why are they underperforming? Why can't they get 1 million viewers every week?
I think they're happy with the base. I think they love their base. You could tell he's not trying to add the casual fan, the lapsed fan. He's happy with his base.
But if you increase your fans, you increase your demo numbers, you increase your rights fees.
Bottom line.
Think about that.
But if he does that, will he lose his base?
No.
If you go in one direction, you're going to lose your base.
You're never going to lose your base.
Like, there's a reason why they didn't sign a guy like Braun Strowman, who, WrestleMania main eventer and stuff. I knew there was no way Khan was going to bring him in because that fan base doesn't give about Braun Strowman. They don't want him.
Right.
Well, I think it might be politics too on that. But
all right. Okay. Well, Paz, I did not find your argument extremely credible in this situation here because it's.
How did I know that was going to happen?
It's excuse. You're just making excuses. It's like you can't discount the constructive criticism and say, well, this rest is different. Bro, they had 1.4 million fans. You've lost there's 400,000 people that watched that show, okay, that were interested. Hey, we're watching wrestling. What did you do? What did you do wrong? And nobody really wants to address it. We have our base and everything. I guess we're doing fine. So it's like, whatever, But I'm not wrong. The first show was their highest rated show, period. Nobody can make any excuses of what, argue that against me. And we talk about it every single week on the show. And it's like, I don't know why I don't know why more people don't agree with us. That's the weird part.
Because AEW is their home team kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know.
It's not like I'm disagreeing with you. I mean, you're right to a certain extent, but I mean, really, though, I'm just saying they're number one, and I think you can't discredit that because if they're number one, they can't be any higher than one in the demos on Wednesday. I know there's nothing to watch, blah, blah, but I mean, they're still doing well, though, for themselves, doing well.
You're doing number one, but what if you're performing against those underwhelming shows? That's not impressive.
So I'm going to tell you what I think on this whole thing that you were just talking about AEW. If you look at shows historically, go on Wikipedia, look at Game of Thrones, look at The Sopranos, look at all those shows. The first show always does great. People tune in to see what the is this about. It's very rare that after the first show it keeps increasing. You just get a whole bunch of curiosity people, and then you try to retain as much as you can. So saying that Dynamite had 1.4 and now they got less is not a really good correlation because, like I said, go to Wikipedia and you can see top shows on HBO go through the same thing, Euphoria, like that. But the problem is that, and like this guy Paz says, they are number one on Wednesdays, whether they have good competition, bad competition, whatever it is, they're still number one. And networks look at that. That's our number one show on Wednesday. So he's probably going to get a bump in his exclusivity. Now, that you and me don't like a lot of the stuff, the way they book stuff, you are correct. Because we grew up with a different type of wrestling, that there was a lot of more logic based in it and just the way that was done old school style. But you also got to remember, bro, there's probably a whole new generation that's growing up on this AEW style, a whole bunch of fans that do like this. And you have to take them into accordance too, because they're doing incredible pay-per-view numbers, and they do good at TVs. Obviously they don't have a house show circuit. So there is some success there. Obviously, I think where they missed the boat, besides the things that you brought up, bringing in Japanese girls and nobody knows who the they are, not doing, recap packages on the week before or on certain, or doing these little 30-second vignettes pause where the guy's like, hey, next week I'm going to fight Luchasaurus. Make sure you don't miss it. Yeah, okay. Right. That really makes me want to see that fight, And so, so they have a lot of problems in that area, they don't do a real good job of letting you know what's going on from the week before or introducing new characters. But, they do have a rabid fan base that buys everything that they're giving him. And they're a successful company, bro. Way more successful than TNA or Impact or any other company out there. And he put his money where his mouth was. He could have lost all that money. He has way too many wrestlers, that he doesn't even know what to do with them. But that's his problem. That's kind of my viewpoint on
I'm not going to argue
AEW.
That. I'm not going to argue that.
Pretty spot on. I just think the booking, and I watch it every week. I do the review show for Russo over on the brand, so I'm consistently watching it. So I know it's like the booking is definitely not great. Some of the guys they push are not great. I just don't like Orange Cassidy, guys like that. Dark
What do
Order.
you think about Wheeler, Utah?
Terrible. Let's be honest. He's terrible. He is, first of all, he's well way too small. He's too small.
How well does he fit in with the Blackpool Combat?
Not at all. Did you see that picture of Regal, who's pretty tall, Moxley, who's pretty tall, and Claudio, who's really big, and then little tiny skinny Wheeler Utah, who doesn't have the personality for the group, the wrestling ability for the group, the toughness. He's awful fit for that group. Awful. Yeah. I don't know why they tried to put round peg in square hole, whatever the hell that expression is. Yeah. I don't get it with him at all. And I don't get Orange Cassidy either. I think he stinks, but I mean, I don't get it. I just interviewed somebody from the Dark Order. I said, I don't get it. Explain it to me. And I still don't get it.
Yeah, it's almost like, Rolling Stones walks into a place and their lead singer is now, what's this guy, Macklemore or some, it's like, what?
Pause.
All those guys.
Mick Jagger's not the lead singer. It's like somebody else, right?
A lot of the factions are like that. The guys don't fit together. It's really why is Danielson in a faction with those guys? I know obviously Regal trained him, gave him his boots and his tights, and everyone knows that story. But it's like, why would Danielson be in a faction? It totally undermines him. Yeah, they've done nothing with him. Embarrassing. Well, he's a bigger star than Punk. I know everyone thinks Punk. He's a bigger star than Punk.
When you look back, it's gone now. But think about how weird and ill-fitted Matt Hardy's faction was too.
Oh, that was what I was gonna say, and I lost my train of thought, John. The biggest mistake they made to me, was when they brought Punk in and they put him with Lee Moriarty and all these other mid-card jobbers.
Yeah, horrible.
Because, like I said, if right now imagine Conor McGregor, they put him in with Joe Blow. Who gives a
right? Instead of Poirier or something. Yeah,
right. Yep. And that to me was they're still hurt. They're still trying to recoup from that. I don't know if it was Punk's idea. I don't know if it was Tony's idea, but whoever idea it was not a good idea.
And Punk doing the 1997 Terry Funk, I'm going to be like this good old baby face.
Yeah,
I'm going to help all the rookies. That was bad. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. That's the Punk I like. The acerbic, smart ass, up your ass, authority. That's the cool Punk I want to see. Not this, oh, hi, I'm back, everybody. Let's all eat a cake together and, all that, dude. That was cool at the beginning, but it got really old really quick. But if you, as mere disco, are to criticize any young cats, we're trying to be relevant.
Yeah.
We're haters.
Right.
We don't know what we're talking about. Nah, we know exactly what we're talking about. You're the one that doesn't want to admit that you're wrong. So man up, grow a pair, and learn to take criticism. Sorry that I hijacked your little thing here.
All right. I got to run. I got to work.
All right, Paz, thanks for coming on for that discussion.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
What do you want to plug before you get out of here?
We're content creators. Creators. I gotta go.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com, patreon.com/TMPT Empire, and TeePublic. Go to tpublic.com/stores/TMPT. A lot of good stuff on there. Thank you, boys.
All right. Go check out John Paz at those platforms. And this has been Keeping It 100. Boom.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you, Feeney. Thank you, Conan.
All right. Be cool.